Hello viewers! On today's news, the Russian flag has been raised in several parts of the eastern town of Avdiivka in Donetsk, hours after Ukrainian forces beat a hasty retreat from the ruins of a town. They've been defending for a decade, but Ukraine's army is under pressure at several other points along the front line that meanders for some 1,000 kilometers from the border with Russia in the north to the Black Sea. The Russian military may have sensed a window of vulnerability in its adversary. Ukraine's better units are exhausted after 2 years of combat. There is a new commander-in-chief, Oleksandr Syrsky, and Ukrainian troops are short of shells and vulnerable to relentless airstrikes. While the goal of President Volodymyr Zelensky and the armed forces is to recover all illegally occupied territory, the Ukrainians are now struggling to prevent the Russians from adding to the approximately 18% of Ukrainian territory they already hold. President Vladimir Putin's declared aim is to seize all of the eastern regions of Luhansk and Donetsk. But few believe he will stop there if there are further opportunities. The Russians launched a determined drive to seize Avdiivka in October, but they are also on the attack near Bakhmut and Mariinka, also in Donetsk, and towards Kupiansk in the north. On the southern front, in Zaporizhia, Russian and Ukrainian sources speak of a massive Russian buildup in the area, where the Ukrainians tried to launch their counteroffensive last summer. According to some analysts, a force of 50,000 men has been assembled. The daily update from the Ukrainian military provides a glimpse of the firepower now being brought to bear by the Russians on Saturday alone. According to the General Staff, there were 82 combat engagements. The enemy launched a total of 13 missile and 104 airstrikes, firing 169 times from multiple launch rocket systems at Ukrainian military positions and residential areas. The update is full of words like repelled and held back, as Ukrainian units in Kharkov, Donetsk and Zaporizhia regions cling to their defensive positions. Ivan Tymyko, chairman of the Reservists Council of Ukrainian Land Forces, said Saturday that, despite the fact that our attention is focused on Avdiivka, in fact, very intense fighting is ongoing in the Lyman-Kupiansk sector and near Bakhmut. The Ukrainians are trying to establish new defensive positions north of Avdiivka on higher ground. Analysts do not expect an immediate Russian assault on these lines as troops regroup, but they may take some outlying villages. The destruction caused by Russian artillery and air strikes over several months in Avdiivka essentially left the Ukrainians with no cover. Having taken what remains of the town, the Russians may release some units to reinforce attacks on the ruins of nearby Mariinka. In recent days, they have made ground to the south of the town, and Ukrainian defenses in the direction of Vuhledar are now under intense pressure. The Ukrainian military reported Sunday that over the previous day, the Russians made 23 attempts to break through our defenses. Ukraine still holds nearly half of the Donetsk region, whose seizure has been a consistent goal of President Vladimir Putin's invasion. It took the Russians months to capture just 30 square kilometers in and around Avdiivka. The Ukrainian military command claimed that it had inflicted losses of 20,018 personnel, 199 tanks, and 481 armored combat vehicles in the region from Avdiivka through western Zaporizhia between January 1st and February 15th, while that cannot be confirmed. U.S. officials have previously said that the Russians were suffering heavy losses because of poor tactics. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.